Hey, good evening, everybody. It is Malik again, and we're going to go ahead and finish these up tonight. We're going to get through main levels 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, so last night we did 1 through 6. Tonight we're going 7 through 10. So again, it's just hackthis.co.uk. The exact path that we're on right now, of course, is hackthis.co.uk, and we're in levels main 7. Okay. Again, you like the channel, please mash that subscribe button, click that little notification bell so you know when I push up some new videos. I got a whole bunch I want to put out now. But anyway, main level 7. So I've already see I have an attempt here. That's where I click the submit button just to see if I could get through it, and I can't. So as usual, we're gonna have to view the page source. Okay, and as always, I'm just going to do a find for pass. That will just jump us down to where we can see the field set for the password and for the username. So again, here's our label, username, and the box that we typed the username in. It's a text, autocomplete is off. It has the ID of user and the name of user. The label for password, that's password. That's where, again, that's where this comes from and this comes from. And ID is pass, name is pass. Okay, well, there's nothing here to help us out now. So let's see if there's anything else with pass. Nope. Okay, so we still have to run through a validation. So we're being validated somewhere. Well, there's one thing that you have to know when it comes to creating websites. I don't have to show everything in my code, but the files do have to be there. Typically there'll be a JavaScript call to it, but that can run through multiple settings. So one thing that we have to take a look at is how do web designers, when they push a website live to a web server, how do they hide files? How come you can't see every file? How do they hide folders? So one thing that you need to do, and I'll kind of pause like I did on the Hack the Site challenges. One thing you need to look up is how does a web designer hide files or folders from, namely, search engines? Because if they didn't, every file and every folder that you push to a website will show up in, let's say, a Google search. So how do we keep search engines from finding pages that we don't want them to find? So do a little research on that. You can show the hint, but do a little research on how to hide files and folders from a web spider. You're going to find there's a standard, and it's always the same. It is a standard. Once you find that, you're going to be able to find out a whole lot of hidden information about a website, and that's going to help us complete this mission. So I'll give you a minute to do that, and then I'll come back and we'll do it together. Okay. So if you pause the video and then went out to do some research, I'm just going to pull up, see if I can find the one. Here we go. There is something that we typically call the robots exclusion. Now, it explains it here. The robots exclusion standard, or simply robots.txt, is a standard used by websites to communicate with crawlers and other bots to inform the bot about which areas of the website should not be processed or scanned. Okay. So that's how they hide files and folders. They hide it by creating this file. And it tells the search engine what pages they are not to crawl. So what pages are to remain hidden. These are typically going to be, it doesn't always have to be authorization pages, but they can be administrator pages. They can be a ton of different stuff. Okay, now, where is this file hidden? Well, if you read everything here, it tells you here, when a site owner wishes to give instructions to web robots, they place a text file called robots.txt in the root of the website hierarchy. And it gives you an example here. So if you own the site www.example.com, it's /robots.txt. It must be in the root. So let's take a look at their robots.txt file. So again, I am at this path. But what if I get rid of this to get to the root and change it to that? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now you're taking a look at the text file. It's always written the same way. User agent : allow : and then usually a whole bunch of disallows. Anything that says disallow are folders or files that you cannot see. But it doesn't mean you can't get to it now that you know the path. So there should be a file in here that looks pretty important. Find that file, change the path, and see if you can find the username and password. Okay, what you should have found that looked pretty important was this one right here. So what if we go here? Oops, don't need that slash. So what if we go to this path? We're now looking at a text file inside of the extras folder that looks like a username and a password. So how about we grab those and paste those in. There's the username. There's the password. And that was it. All from that folder /extras/. there was a file in there called userpass.txt. Very cool. Okay, so let's go to the next level. And username, password. I haven't done any attempts. I don't know why it says 1. Oh, it says I completed that one. I ain't completed that one. Anyway, submit it. Nope, invalid details. Okay, so again, let's take a look at the page source. And again, here's our information. Oops. There we go, right there. Okay. So, same type of information. We have our labels. We have our fields, our labels, our fields. Huh. But look at what we got right there. Well, that looks just like the last mission we came from. Just the file is different. It's even in the same folder. Extras. So this is no different. So, go find that file and see if you can pull the username and password from it. Again, I have the old one up here. That's where we were for level 7. So what would we change to find the username and password for level 8? And if you said this, you would be right. So let's see what's there. Uh-oh. Okay, so looks like they played with us here. While we do have something here, this definitely does not look like a username and password. Although it could be. You could try it out. But we needed something that's more legible for us to read. If you don't know, of course, and you probably do, this is written in binary. So, how about we convert it? Now again, we don't know what this should be. So we can always Google binary converter. You can typically find a converter that will kind of convert everything: decimal, hex, octal, ASCII. We can find one that makes a little bit more sense. Because again, we don't know if they're looking for numbers or what they're looking for. So let's just pull this one. Now, this is going to be a lot of trial and error. Because again, you don't know how they have this written out. If I just try to take that and convert it, it's not going to do it because of the spaces. So I need to take the spaces out. Is that all of the spaces? Should be one more. No, I must have got them. Okay. So if we're looking at base 10, the password could be 45067. If we're looking at base 16, the password is B00B, or if we're looking at a base 8, it's 130013. Okay, so we don't know if they're doing decimal or if they're doing hex. And ASCII, since it's not showing, is probably just special symbols, so they're not doing ASCII code. So we don't know really which one we're doing. So you really write both of them down. So I'll write both of them down. Again, that's B00B. And then let's do this one. I gotta take my spaces out. And if we're going decimal, we're dealing with 65261 or FEED. Or if we're dealing with octal, we're dealing with 177355. Alright, so plug them in, see which ones work. Let's try the numbers. 45067 and 65261. It's thinking. It's still thinking. Nope, invalid. Okay, so let's try the base 16. The hex, B00B and FEED. Remember to capitalize them. See if that does it. And that did it. So they just had it in binary, but it needed to be converted into hex to get us in. Okay, we have a username, we have a password, but we got something different. We have a request details. Okay, so let's take a look at the page source. And I'm actually going to look for that request details. Okay, there it is right there. There's the request details and a submit button. And nothing else for request. So that's the only thing there. Okay. So let's see what happens if we click on that. It takes us to a page where we got to put in an email address. So let's view that page source. Alright, so there's nothing there for, let me just search for email. Alright, there's the email. So, input type text, email 1. That's where we type in our email. But there is a hidden field, email 2, with the value of admin@hackthis.co.uk. So it's kind of a weird form. It looks like or at least by the code, it looks like, let's say if you forgot your password, you would put in your email address. and maybe when you submit, it would send you an email for maybe a password reset or something like that. But there's a value down here. So it kind of looks like, although you really wouldn't see this on a real site, kind of looks like this is a page in case the admin loses his email or his password, that it will let him into the site. So again, kind of a weird little setup. We're not sure how they have it. But I've done enough of these challenges before. I have a feeling this is a very similar one to hackthisite.org. What they're going to need you to do is change this value to an email address and then type in that same email address here and submit it, in which case it should let you in. So if you followed one of the first 6 missions, we did the exact same thing in the drop-down box where we had to log in as Ronald. How do I change this? Because as you see right here, I can't change anything. How do I change that? So see if you can do it. And then put that same email in here and submit and see if you get through. Okay, so I'm going to inspect the element. See, that brings it down here to the bottom. This is inside the inspector in the console. Down here, I can change things. So here, where I see admin at hackthis.co.uk, if I double click that, I'm just going to change it to me@me.me. And then I'm going to put that exact same email address, me@me.me. And submit. There you go. Kind of a goofy level. If I wouldn't have seen ones like that before, I would have had to take a look at the hint. But I've seen some other levels like that where they kind of played with having to change the email address. Really all it did, it was a validation of the email that you typed in to make sure. Now I haven't tried it. Again, you just saw me finish it. I haven't tried to just type in the admin email address inside the email box. That would have worked too. But that got us through it. Well, guys, we're kind of flying through these here. So we'll do one more. Last one. Level 10. It says 87 attempts. Username, password. That's not my number of attempts. Anyway, let's submit it, see what we get. Alright, just the invalid details. Again, same thing. Let's view the source. And let's find pass. Well, guys, doesn't look any different. Look at here. We have a hidden password file. The same as we had in level 8. The same pretty much as we had in level 7. So I have a feeling they're going to throw something at us. Now, don't let something throw you off. you see they've kept something out of here. They just tell you level 10 pass is the password file. But remember back to the robots.txt as to where these files hide. They do not have to give you the explicit path here. They did earlier, in the beginning, they gave us the ... oops, sorry about that. They gave us the ... to tell you to back up 2 folders. Or one even told you, what, / extras, / whatever the file name, yeah, secret.txt. This one doesn't have it. That doesn't mean the file is not there, though. Remember, the extras folder was hidden by robots.txt. They don't have to explicitly state it. So this is where a lot of the times when you see the code, it's a lot of trial and error. You may try it, and this is our path right now. Let's get rid of this. That's our path right now. Now, you could try, this. Who knows? It may be there. You could try this. Who knows? It may be there. But every other one has been here. So, if I was a gambling man, I would try here first. So let's jump there. Oh crap. Well, I do believe we found what we wanted. But we're dealing with a hash file. It's a text file, but it has a hash in it. This is a username and a password that is ran through some sort of hashing algorithm. But which hashing algorithm? Because there's a bunch of them. That's for you to find out. Okay. The best way for you to figure this out as to what type of hash it uses is to figure out how many characters are in the hash. And then just do some Googling to find out what type of hash it could be. So, the only hint I'll give you here outside of that one, that colon separates the username and the password. So, this is probably the username, and this is probably the password. Now, hashes are always going to be a fixed length. So, however long this is going to be 2, regardless of however long the username or password is. Find out how many characters are in here, and then Google what type of hash has those many characters. Find a hash converter, you can just Google it, and convert that hash to a username and a password. I'll give you a sec, and then I'll do it with you. Okay. So, if you pause the video, if you counted the numbers, there were 63 characters. So if you just Google, what hash has 63 characters? SHA-256, SHA-256. Gee, is that up there? Yes, SHA-256, 256 bits long, equivalent to 32 bytes, 64 bytes in a hex, using characters, blah, blah, blah. Or 64, sorry. 64. I said 63. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 64, yep, wanted to make sure, 64 characters, I meant 64 characters, sorry. Okay. So again, SHA-256, always have 64 characters. You take a look at hash, now yes, there are some other ones, you know, spooky hash, city hash, Haval, but biggest hash out there. Okay, so now we just need a SHA-256 decryptor. I typically link to a lot of these pages. Okay, this is one of them, Decode. So what I can do is just grab this, copy it, paste it, click decrypt. It's gonna scan. And let's see if it comes back with something. And it did. It came back with Carl. And then I'll grab this side. Decrypt. And it came back with guess. Okay, well, let's see if that works. Carl and guess. CARLGUESS. And there we go. So, in those first 10 levels, those main levels, a lot of them were just viewing the source code. One of them took us in to having to do a directory transversal. Then it stepped up the game a little bit, had us check the robots.txt file. And again, remember that. Remember that robots.txt. Now, are there ways to hide it? Sure there are. But look, they've got a folder called users, a capture the flag folder, an inbox folder. I mean, there may be something inside of some of these folders. I don't know, I haven't looked. Let's see what's inside the inbox folder. Nothing. That's where your inbox is at. Well, how about the users folder? Now they got an error accessing it, and that could just be there. You know, it's not, maybe not even a real folder. But keep that robots.txt file in mind. If there's also a htaccess file that does the same thing. in PHP. But then we started hitting some files. One was written in binary, we had to do a conversion, and one was even written in SHA-256, and we had to do a conversion. So we played around with some pretty interesting things in those 10 missions. So the ones we'll hit next, we'll get into the basics. We have 7 basic plus missions. We'll get into those and we will do those together, and they're probably going to step up their game a little bit to where we may have multiple steps. Alright, but until next time, my friends, we have now gotten through 7, 8, 9, and 10. 2 nights we knocked out 10 main levels to get back into the swing of things. Tomorrow night or so, we'll start working on these basic pluses. Alright, until later, my friends, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Donations are always appreciated. Let's keep this channel going and build it up so we can get into some bigger and better things. But until next time, this is Malik. You guys have a great night.